In this video, I'm going to give you 10 smart cost-saving strategies that could save you tens of thousands of dollars on your build. Whether you're still in the planning phase or you've already broken ground, these tips will help you cut costs without cutting corners. The first thing to do with any project is to clearly define your budget. If you're planning on getting a loan to build your house and you're not sure where to start, the affordability calculator on Buildable is a great tool to give you an initial estimate. Buildable is a platform I developed to help people that are building custom homes plan out their project, stay on budget, and finish on time. Not only does Buildable have a lot of helpful free resources like the affordability calculator, but it also helps you track multiple bids for each construction task. It lets you see what other people are paying for the same thing, and it lets you know when you're about to go over budget. I'll throw the link to the Buildable affordability calculator in the description. Eventually, for a more exact budget, you'll want to get pre-qualified by a lender that serves the area that you want to build in. On to tip number 2, and that's to clearly separate your must-haves from your nice-to-haves. I know you probably have a particular vision for your dream home, but every project needs compromises to stay on budget. For example, if you have 2 kids who each need their own bedroom and an aging parent living with you, then you might need 4 bedrooms, including at least 1 bedroom on the ground floor for easy access. On the other hand, if you think you need a formal dining room, but your family always eats in the kitchen, then the dining room is probably more of a nice to have. Anytime you can remove an unnecessary space, like maybe a 4th bathroom, you can save tens of thousands of dollars. The other big thing that you need to figure out is how much space do you really need? For example, you might think you need 3,500 square feet, which is a big house, but you might be just fine with 2,800. Because at $350 a square foot, that additional 700 square feet is a difference of about $250,000. And you'll have to pay higher property taxes and insurance forever on the bigger house. Tip number 3 is to carefully choose your lot. Building on raw, undeveloped, unimproved land means that there's going to be extra costs for bringing utilities on site, and maybe even road access. So you better have a really good idea about how much more money you're going to have to put into a piece of land before you go and purchase it. And whenever possible, choose a lot in an established neighborhood with existing infrastructure around it like roads, water, electric, gas, and sewer, and realize some banks might not even approve a construction loan unless there's a fire hydrant nearby. You'll also want to aim for a flat lot and avoid rocky or steep terrains that are going to require more labor and more machinery. And make sure the site is accessible for your building crew and material deliveries. The last thing I'll say on this point is remember that the location of your lot directly impacts your home's resale value. Next up is tip number 4. Make smart architectural decisions. Architect fees can reach tens of thousands of dollars, and they're typically paid out of pocket before you get any sort of construction loan. So instead of starting from scratch with a fully custom design, consider modifying existing house plans. Many custom home builders offer standard layouts that you can easily tweak to suit your own needs. And some builders even have designs that they've optimized over many years to be cost-effective in your area. Continuing on the topic of design, tip number 5 is to simplify the shape and layout of your home. I really leaned into this strategy when building my cabin in Lake Tahoe. We went with a straightforward rectangular design with fewer exterior walls, fewer corners, and a basic roofline to significantly reduce construction complexity and costs. Another strategy here is to build upwards instead of outwards, such as a 2-story design instead of a ranch style. This helps minimize the foundation size, which reduces excavation, grading, and foundation expenses, and a smaller overall footprint also means lower roofing costs. Tip number 6 is to group plumbing-heavy areas like bathrooms, kitchens, and laundry rooms close together or stack them vertically. This can save in plumbing material and labor costs. The 7th tip is to incorporate multifunctional spaces. A home office that doubles as a guest room and a workout area is a great example of maximizing usable square footage without increasing the home's footprint. Tip number 8 is to pay attention to your home's placement on the lot. The further your home is from the street, the more it'll cost to run utility lines and put in a longer driveway. The 9th tip is to use materials strategically. I'm not saying to use cheap materials, but you don't need to use the highest end materials everywhere to achieve the overall look that you're going for. One of the best examples of this is with flooring. Options like the latest laminate or luxury vinyl plank have gotten pretty darn close to mimicking the look of real hardwood at a fraction of the cost, and in many cases, they're more durable too. I've also seen some really convincing porcelain tiles that look just like marble or other natural stones. The other big ticket material item that you can save a lot of money on are your windows. I used some black composite windows from Andersen in my build that were significantly cheaper than wooden windows and have pretty much the same performance. So I saved about 30 grand by going with less expensive windows, and then I trimmed out the windows in wood so that the overall look was more high-end. So sticking with materials, tip number 10 is to use high-end materials where they'll be most visible and cost-effective materials in less noticeable areas. For example, on the exterior of our build, my wife and I used cedar siding on the second floor and front porch, and then less expensive steel siding on the first floor to get the overall mountain home look we wanted for much less than if we did the whole thing in cedar. So that wraps up part 1 of my 20 tips to build a home on a budget. In part 2, I'll cover everything from shopping for appliances to negotiating with contractors, tracking costs, and planning for surprises. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out part 2 once it's available. And if you're ready to plan and manage your project like a pro, head over to Buildable and check out our free tools.